Killua decided to take Gon to a good place. This place is the Heavens Arena. The two finally arrived at the location of the Heavens Arena by airship. Seeing this unparalleled tall building, Gon was extremely excited. Every floor in this tall building holds competitions at any time. The higher you go, the higher the prize money. After waiting in line for a long time, the two finally entered the first floor of the arena. The Heavens Arena has a total of 251 floors. There are no rules for the matches here, as long as you can knock down your opponent. Killua said he was thrown here by his father when he was 6 years old. It took him 2 years to reach the 200th floor before returning home. Gon admired this greatly. He didn't expect Killua to be so amazing at the age of 6. In Gon's first match, he encountered a big guy. Gon habitually wanted to win with skill, but he remembered Killua telling him before the match that since he had already opened the door of trial, he should try to push the enemy with all his strength. So Gon pushed the big guy with one hand, and unexpectedly, the big guy flew horizontally and smashed into the wall. This even stunned Gon himself. When did he become so strong? Seeing Gon's strength, the referee directly let Gon continue the match on the 50th floor. Meanwhile, on Killua's side, he easily won the first round. The referee recognized that he had reached the 200th floor before and let Killua continue the match on the 180th floor. However, Killua refused. He wanted to start from the 50th floor with Gon. The friendship between children is always easy to establish. In the time it takes to simply take the elevator, a boy named Zushi became acquainted with Killua and Gon. Zushi is a successor of the Shinjinryu. He was really surprised that Gon and Killua, who did not belong to any school, were so powerful. On the 50th floor, Gon and Killua also met Zushi's master, Wing. Wing looked very handsome, but his dressing was a bit careless. It's unknown if he has a girlfriend. Wing was curious why Killua and Gon, at such a young age, came to the arena. Killua directly stated that they came to earn money and temporarily hid the fact about special training. Indeed, Killua, Gon, and Zushi won their first prize money, just enough to buy a bottle of juice. Killua said that winning on the 50th floor would earn them 50,000, winning on the 100th floor would earn them 1 million, and if they surpassed the 150th floor, the prize money would jump to over 10 million. When Killua reached the 200th floor, he had 2 billion in prize money. This shocked Gon and Zushi. Having 2 billion could allow them to live comfortably for a lifetime. However, Killua said he spent all 2 billion on buying candies and cookies. 2 billion worth of candies and cookies. Did Killua buy the entire cookie factory? Under Killua's leadership, the children arrived at the players' lounge, surrounded by other competitive players eyeing them. Soon, it was Killua and Zushi's turn to compete on stage. Killua, standing on the field, remained indifferent. He casually walked towards Zushi with his hands in his pockets, then instantly flashed behind Zushi and effortlessly knocked him down with a hand chop. The difference in strength was evident as Killua easily gained 2 points. The first person to reach 10 points in the arena is the winner. Unexpectedly, Zushi stood up again to continue the match. Killua had to use the hand chop once more, but this time, Zushi quickly got back up. At this point, Zushi decided to use his ultimate move. He assumed a strong stance, and Killua immediately felt a powerful force spreading towards him. His killer instinct made him quickly retreat as he sensed a similar aura to his brother, Illumi. He was scared and kept retreating to the edge of the stage. However, at this moment, Wing in the audience suddenly shouted Zushi's name. As a result, the power on Zushi's body suddenly disappeared. It was a long time after Gon finished the competition that Killua finally came out of the elevator on the 60th floor. Although Zushi had many flaws, he never gave up. In the end, Killua won by points. Now, what Killua cares most about is the power that Zushi almost released. After the game, he heard Wing call it none. Wing told Zushi that he absolutely couldn't use it before reaching the top floor. This made Killua very concerned. After 3 days of hard work, Killua and Gon had reached the 100th floor. They finally had their own room, but on this floor, if they lost once, they would go back to the 99th floor, and the treatment on the 100th floor was vastly different from the 99th floor. Many people would do anything to stay on this floor, so the two of them must be careful next. However, with the experience from the last time, Killua didn't take it too seriously. He was still very interested in Nun. He felt that as long as he went up, he would always meet opponents who could use Nun again. Then he could see what Nun was. However, Gon suggested that they go ask Zushi. Killua really didn't want to ask a child younger than himself, but led by Gon, he had no choice. The two later arrived at the 50th floor, and Zushi truthfully informed them that Nun was actually one of the 4 major techniques. Recognizing the entanglement, learning the ultimate, and achieving enlightenment through none were all part of the practice of thought. However, Zushi's explanation left Gon and Killua completely puzzled. They didn't understand what Zushi was talking about at all. When Zushi wanted to continue, he was suddenly stopped by the appearance of Wing. He felt that Zushi's half-hearted preaching would mislead the two. But Killua was very eager to know what none was because he believed that his big brother, Illumi, must have this ability. So, he also wanted to study it well. He begged Wing to guide himself and Gon. Finally, Wing agreed to Killua's request. He told the two that training is a kind of application of Nan ability, and Nan is the burning of the mind. The so-called 4 great practices refer to the process of strengthening willpower. Point, tongue, refine, and release are the 4 great practices. So Wing's concern about not letting Zushi mislead the younger generation is indeed reasonable. This is completely different from what he said about the 4 great practices. Wing was afraid that Killua and the others would not understand what he said, so he planned to demonstrate it to Killua and Gon. First is the point. Wing focused his mind, then the tongue. Wing said that whether thinking in his own mind or speaking out loud, it can be done. Then Wing slowly said to Killua, "I want to kill you." Killua didn't mind at all, as it was impossible anyway. As a result, shortly after, Gon and Killua felt a terrifying aura spreading around Wing. When Wing opened his eyes, that immense power reached its peak. Gon and Killua were both overwhelmed. Gon barely stood in place, while Killua was already scared and crouched against the wall. Wing said that what just happened was refining, and then releasing is turning the intimidating aura into action. Wing told Gon and Killua that if they want to learn none, he suggests they focus on refining the point first. As long as they can refine the point, they won't be suppressed by the opponent's aura again. Killua and Gon walked on the street. Killua felt that what Wing said just now was false. Although Wing's displayed ability was amazing, he seemed to have hidden something crucial. When Killua fought with Zushi before, he couldn't defeat him after a long battle and became a bit irritable. As a result, with one uncontrolled punch, he fiercely sent Zushi flying. After this punch, Killua himself regretted it. The force of this punch would surely send Zushi to the hospital. But what Killua didn't expect was that Zushi actually stood up. Killua felt that there must be a secret behind Zushi's ability to withstand being hit, because Wing's explanation of the 4 great practices just now completely failed to explain why Zushi could withstand such hits. In Wing's room, Zushi was also getting angry with him. He really didn't like the teacher lying to Killua and Gon. The 4 great techniques are clearly entangle, sever, train, and erupt. Both in terms of characters and meanings, they are completely different from what Wing just said. Just because they are not his disciples, does that mean he can casually deceive people? But Wing said he couldn't pass on the ability to those who are not his disciples because the power of the ability is very strong and anyone can learn it easily. This requires the instructor to be more strict in selecting the right people. If someone with evil intentions masters the ability, it will cause endless harm. The competition in the Heaven Arena is still ongoing. Even when they reached the 190th floor, Gon and Killua could still instantly kill their opponents with their super strength. Zushi, who was watching the live broadcast outside, was also very excited. He told Master Wing that he wanted to learn from Killua and Gon and work hard in cultivation. But Wing seemed preoccupied. Killua and Gon finally reached the 200th floor. Indeed, the higher they went, the more luxurious it became. When they were looking for the service counter to register for the competition on the 200th floor's corridor, they suddenly felt a strange aura in the corridor. It felt like suddenly getting lost in a tropical jungle where monsters dwell, making it very dangerous. Gon and Killua nervously took a few steps forward. The strong killing intent completely stopped them from advancing. The killing intent seemed tangible, as if it wanted to seep into every pore of their bodies. Killua couldn't help but shout, asking the person hiding at the end of the corridor and playing tricks to come out quickly. But at that moment, the killing intent suddenly disappeared, and a beautiful female staff member from the Heaven's Arena appeared. Killua and Gon were both stunned. Could it be that the killing intent was emitted by this woman? But it didn't seem likely. She earnestly told the two of them about the precautions after the 200th floor. When she was speaking, she completely didn't notice a playing card quietly emerging from behind her. Then Hisoka also appeared. It turned out that the suffocating killing intent just now was emitted by Hisoka. Hisoka came here to wait for Killua and Gon. He told the two children that it was too early for them to reach the 200th floor with their current strength, so he wanted them to know their limits and retreat. After speaking, Hisoka casually raised his hand, and Gon and Killua almost couldn't stand. The killing intent released by Hisoka made the two of them breathless. But Gon just wouldn't give up. He must step forward against Hisoka's powerful aura. Fortunately, Wing suddenly appeared at this time. He stopped Gon's reckless behavior. Wing said that Gon and Killua couldn't bear the nen released by Hisoka at the moment. Going further would mean seeking death. Killua was a little puzzled. Could Hisoka really kill us just by imagination? Wing, are you trying to fool us? So Wing finally apologized. He said he could tell the two what real nen is, but Gon and Killua must leave immediately and stop seeking death. Gon then asked a beautiful staff member and learned that if they didn't complete the registration before 12 o'clock, it would be equivalent to forfeiting, and they couldn't continue the challenge. It's now 8:30. Gon and Killua only have 3.5 hours to learn nen from Wing. This time, Wing mentioned the real 4 major techniques: bind, sever, nun, and release. But the time given to Gon and Killua is too short. Can they really learn to use nen abilities in 3.5 hours? Wing decided to forcibly awaken their potential, which means Wing would transfer his aura to Gon and Killua. Ordinary people cannot use the power in their bodies because the acupoints in their bodies are blocked. Wing is going to use his aura to clear these acupoints for Gon and Killua, just like the principle of opening the governor vessel in martial arts novels. However, this kind of cultivation method actually belongs to the side path. If there is a slight deviation, it can be fatal. At this moment, Killua suddenly spoke up, asking Wing why he only decided to reveal the true power of nen to them now. In fact, Wing is also a kind person. He felt that if he let Gon and Killua climb to the 200th floor without knowing anything, they would definitely die miserably. So, he ultimately decided to teach the nen ability to the two children. Wing then had Gon and Killua take off their shirts and stand with their backs to him. As Wing made his move, a surging and overwhelming energy immediately flowed into Gon's body. Gon felt extremely amazed. Wing clearly did not touch him, but he felt a strong burning sensation rising from behind. As for Killua, he felt the same way. At the moment Yungu exerted his power, a powerful energy enveloped Gon and Killua. Even Gon, who had a strong willpower, couldn't help but scream in pain. Perhaps only the people involved truly understand this kind of suffering. Fortunately, this kind of torment quickly ended. Gon and Killua's acupoints had all opened in an instant. They emitted white energy all over their bodies. This was the power of life. Due to the opening of their acupoints, Gon and Killua could see the flow of energy. Those energies surrounded their bodies, like a misty vapor. Their entire bodies seemed to be invigorated. Wing then taught Killua and Gon how to keep the energy within their bodies. Under Wing's continuous guidance, Gon and Killua closed their eyes, feeling the flow of energy in their bodies. They didn't know that Wing and Zushi were both stunned at this moment. Things that ordinary people take a long time to learn, Gon and Killua actually mastered after just one listen. They were truly natural talents. Wing then asked Gon and Killua to open their eyes. At this point, the energy on their bodies no longer leaked uncontrollably but instead enveloped their bodies like a thin film of gas. Wing decided to start the next stage of training for them. He began to emit malicious intentions towards Gon and Killua. In an instant, a dark purple aura enveloped the entire room. This is the aura of Illumi that Killua hates and fears the most. However, since the thin film of gas enveloped his body, he felt much better. Wing said that as long as the two could successfully resist the intentions he released, they could break through the circle set by Hisoka. As soon as he finished speaking, Wing unleashed all his nen power. Gon and Killua's screams were endless. Before 12 o'clock, Gon and Killua returned to the corridor on the 200th floor where Hisoka was located. Hisoka smirked evilly and freely released his malicious nen abilities towards them. But this time, Gon and Killua had the protection of nen and were completely unafraid of this threat. They slowly moved forward and finally broke through Hisoka's circle. Hisoka then smiled and finally agreed to let Gon and Killua come to the 200th floor. In fact, he could also guess the reason why Gon came to the Heavens Arena, which was to hone himself here before challenging him. However, based on Gon's current strength, he was still too weak, just knowing how to entangle. But Hisoka still told Gon that as long as he could win once on the 200th floor, he would make an exception to play with Gon. With that, Hisoka turned and left. Gon and Killua found a beautiful female staff member to register. The beautiful lady told them that everyone here has 90 days of preparation time for battles. Participants can freely choose their own match day within 90 days. As long as they participate in a match within 90 days, they can get another 90 days of preparation time. To advance to the next level of the floor, one must win 10 times on that floor. If you lose 4 times, you will lose the opportunity to challenge. However, if you successfully complete 10 wins, you will have the opportunity to challenge the floor master. The so-called Floor Master is one of the 21 most prestigious individuals in the Heavens Arena, occupying one floor each from the 30th to the 250th floor. These 21 owners each occupy one floor. If you become building owners, you can participate in the biennial martial arts Olympics held on the building and compete with other super experts. She enthusiastically said a lot, then looked down to see the two children below still looking confused. Why are they not reacting to her words at all? The beautiful staff member emphasized again that becoming a building owner is a very honorable thing and you can live in a 1,000-meter high landscape suite. However, Gon said, "Killua, isn't your house on a 3,700-meter mountain?" Now the beautiful woman was dizzy. What are these two kids here for? Gon naturally came to duel with Hisoka. He didn't care about any landscape suite. So Gon and Killua began to discuss when to participate in the competition. Gon had just learned Nen abilities and was eager to try them out. He wanted to test his abilities immediately, so he filled out the application form. Unexpectedly, 3 people in strange outfits also lined up to fill out the form behind him. Obviously, they thought Gon and Killua were easy targets. If they were grouped together, they could easily win. Gon's match was scheduled for the next afternoon. His opponent was one of the 3 members of the strange outfit trio, Red Cloak without legs. Before the battle, Gon thought about what Wing had said before. Now Gon and Killua could only defend, not attack. So he hoped they wouldn't rush into the match and would leave some time for him to teach them everything about Nen abilities. But Gon still insisted on participating in the match. Red Cloak took out a combat top. In an instant, countless tops spun and collided around Gon. As soon as 2 tops collided, they could attack Gon. Gon didn't have time to defend and was knocked down by a top. At that moment, Gon was truly shocked. How could a small top hurt so much when it hit a person? But this is the terrifying aspect of Nen abilities attacks. The tops of Red Cloak were infused with Nen abilities, so hitting a person was like hitting them with an iron hammer. Soon, Red Cloak scored 4 points. Watching so many tops spinning at the same time, Gon felt it was really tricky. Wing, who was watching the live broadcast off the court, explained to Zushi. The reason why the Red Cloak is powerful is that it not only infuses the spinning tops with thoughts to make them spin. If only thoughts are infused, the spinning tops will only spin faster and not attack the enemy like this. The Red Cloak has an unimaginably strong intention towards the spinning tops, which can resonate with them, so the spinning tops have this effect. However, it is obvious that these spinning tops cannot be controlled at will. Gon on the battlefield completely cannot understand the movements of these spinning tops, nor can he predict their trajectories. He can only try to sense the aura of the spinning tops as much as possible. He can indeed feel the aura when he closes his eyes, but as soon as he loses focus, the entanglement on his body immediately disappears. Gon quickly opens his eyes. A spinning top jumps into the air and knocks Gon away again. This time, Gon is directly knocked out of the field. Gon climbs up in a sorry state and suddenly finds that the spinning top that knocked him away just now is spinning below the stage. That spinning top does not carry the thoughts that Gon dislikes, and looking at the other spinning tops on the field, they are spinning aimlessly, seemingly colliding with each other. The spinning tops do not seem to be solely targeting him. At this moment, he also notices that even the referee dares not stand in the field because the spinning tops will attack indiscriminately, even the referee. Gon suddenly understands that these spinning tops have no intelligence at all, they simply rely on instinct to clear obstacles in the field. After understanding this point, Gon's goal becomes clear: do not compete with the spinning tops, focus on attacking the Red Cloak. Gon immediately flies onto the stage and rushes towards the Red Cloak, but at this moment, the Red Cloak starts spinning rapidly on its own. It turns into a giant red spinning top. This turns out to be his tactic, using the combat spinning top to attack while focusing on defense. Gon was hit and flew out of the arena again because he couldn't dodge in time. The current score is 9-0. Gon is about to lose the match. He can't just sit and wait to die, he must think of a way to change the situation. So, the people in the stands suddenly noticed that Gon had removed the bindings. Killua was shocked. He quickly told Gon to stop doing this. Wing was also greatly surprised. Did Gon comprehend it on his own? Now Gon's defense against Nen is almost 0. How will he defeat the Red Cloak? Gon closed his eyes and felt the energy on the top. Indeed, without the interference of his own bindings, Gon keenly caught the movement of the tops and successfully avoided their attacks one after another. He closed his eyes, dodging the tops while approaching the Red Cloak. Everyone on the field was shocked. There are now 50 tops on the field. Gon moved swiftly and easily dodged the tops' attacks in the rain of tops. This move shocked the Red Cloak. Even Hisoka, who was watching the battle, couldn't help but hold down his excited arms. After the scene change, Gon was lying on the bed, covered in injuries. He had fractures all over his body. Killua was so angry that he almost cursed. Are you trying to get yourself killed? You're risking your life without even understanding the Nen ability. Have you forgotten Wing's teachings? Gon could only apologize repeatedly while touching his head. Before Killua could finish scolding, Wing arrived. He slapped Gon directly and continued scolding as Killua did. However, seeing that Gon seemed genuinely remorseful, Wing's tone immediately softened. But he still said he wouldn't forgive easily. Wing strictly prohibited Gon from participating in any form of competition for 2 months and tied a string around Gon's finger as a sign of agreement. He said that if Gon didn't listen, he would go on strike. After dealing with Gon, Wing called out Killua. He was very curious about the true purpose of these two children coming to the Heavens Arena. Killua said he came here to earn pocket money to buy candy. As for Gon, he wanted to duel with Hisoka, so he came here to train. For Killua, he was not interested in the so-called martial arts Olympics on the top floor at all. However, he warned Gon not to say that. From yesterday's battle, it can be seen that he really enjoys the feeling of competing in the arena. So what decision will Gon make, Killua cannot predict. Wing was very surprised after hearing this. He regretted it for a moment. If he hadn't taught Gon and Killua Nen abilities, perhaps the two would not have been sent back by Hisoka so soon, and they wouldn't have to face the upcoming danger. However, Killua said it was a bit late for Wing to regret. Since he and Gon already knew about Nen abilities, even if Wing stopped teaching now, they would find someone else to continue learning. They would eventually walk this path. Wing then decided to continue teaching Gon and Killua Nen abilities. After Gon's injuries healed, they could continue their training. However, when Wing returned home, his mood was still unsettled. He felt a kind of pressure he had never felt before. Perhaps he had awakened a monster. The two children, Gon and Killua, whether teaching them Nen abilities was right or opened Pandora's box. A month passed quickly. Gon, who originally needed 2 months to recover, had almost fully recovered in just 1 month. On this day, Killua came to find Gon and found him idling in the room. Fortunately, Killua happened to bring warmth. He got tickets for Hisoka's match. Hisoka is a popular player in the Heavens Arena, and as long as he competes seriously, he won't lose. In the matches he has participated in, he has only been scored against 4 times by opponents. Therefore, the tickets for his matches have been scalped at very high prices. It's rare for Killua to get 2 tickets. Hisoka's opponent this time is also a very formidable person named Castro. He is the only person who managed to knock Hisoka down 2 years ago. Castro's best record against Hisoka is scoring 3 points. Originally, Gon was quite excited, but he suddenly remembered the instructions from Wing. He was prohibited from practicing Nen for 2 months and from investigating Nen without permission. Watching Hisoka's match like this should be considered investigating Nen without permission. Walking on the elevator to the venue, Gon felt a bit uneasy. However, Killua thought it was fine to just watch a match, and Wing might not necessarily find out. But soon after, Killua and Gon looked up and saw Wing's expressionless face. Wing sternly forbade them from going. No matter how much Killua pleaded, Wing wouldn't allow Gon to watch. He instructed Gon to focus on training diligently for the next month and to concentrate on healing. After saying that, he left with Zushi. Helpless, Killua had to promise to watch the match himself and record it for Gon. However, even with all of Wing's calculations, he missed the fact that the Heavens Arena TV station was broadcasting the match that day. While Gon was practicing in his room, he suddenly heard the live broadcast of Hisoka and Castro's match on TV. But Gon is a good child who keeps his promises. If he promised Wing not to watch, then he won't watch. He walked over and turned off the TV to continue focusing on his training.
The video ends here. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave your comments to support the channel. New anime series will be uploaded regularly on 21st Century Anime. Thank you.